What if your customers are trying to find your business online, but instead of finding you, they find your competitors? Now, more than ever, it's time to make sure you have the right SEO to make your business stand out online. Welcome to Go Mind Your Business with Terri Bork, presented by Extreme Marketing Concepts, putting your business in front of the hungry herd of buyers who are looking for you right now. Extreme Marketing Concepts, helping you drive more traffic, dominate the market, and crush your competition. And now, here's Terri.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Go Mind Your Business. My name is Terri Bork, and it is a gorgeous fall day here in October. And I'm really excited that you are spending some time with me today. I have an amazing lady who I met about a year ago, who is known as America's Crisis Coach. Her name is Faydra Koenig. Please join me in welcoming Faydra to our program today. Hi, Faydra.
Hi, Terri. How are you?
I'm doing so great. How are you?
I'm great. It's a beautiful early fall morning here in California. I'm just having a great day.
Oh, awesome. So thanks so much for taking time out of your day and joining us today.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Let me share with our audience a little bit about you, and so they can get to know you a little bit better.
Awesome.
So Faydra is a lover of iced tea, travel, and snarky banter, and she's determined to shake people up about their mediocrity and stop living a half-life that's killing their spirit. Now, she's known as, in pop culture, as America's Crisis Coach. And Faydra shares stories of triumph and hope that make lasting impacts on people moving through their own crisis. And you can find out more about Faydra at her website, doinglifewithfaydra.com, and you can find her books at faydraonamazon.com. And you can catch her podcast, Coming Out of the Fire, on iTunes. And Faydra is spelled Faydra, Faydra. So again, Faydra, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me ask you, how did you get started in crisis coaching, and what is crisis coaching?
Absolutely. So it's an interesting story from a business perspective, because originally, way back in the day, I worked that brick and mortar type job in the field of psychology. And my first 20 years of my employment, I worked for mental health. And I also worked in the court systems, helping families mediate divorces. So I started out kind of like everybody else, trading dollars for hours. And over time, I started writing and started getting noticed in pop culture for helping people going through their divorce. I had been blogging about it before blogging was even a thing. It was more of a diary for me back then. And people started seeking me out about divorce issues. And I decided to run with that, and I became America's divorce coach. And I was really popular for that, and I really enjoyed it. But from a business perspective, it turned out I had niched myself in too narrow of a niche. People were contacting me and saying, "Oh my gosh, I love you. I love work, the work you do, but I'm not going through a divorce, but I have this other issue. Could you help me out?" And I was part of a mastermind group with some brilliant ladies, and they pointed out to me that I think I had outgrown my niche. And I decided to rebrand myself and start to talk about the other ways that I was helping people and not really promoting it. And that's how I decided to become America's Crisis Coach. So crisis coaching, you asked me about that. Well, initially, really my background started with myself being raised in a very, very abusive household. And from the time I was 3 until I was 13, I was living in pretty much a nightmare. And it was before they had foster care and things like that. And I didn't know any better. How does a fish know it's in water? But as I started to grow up and be in middle school age, I started to recognize that this wasn't, what everybody else was going through. And when I moved out of that situation, I actually moved on my own when I was 16, I really set out to heal and understand and get past a lot of that. So I moved on into getting married, and I had some difficulties in the marriage area. And after my second marriage ended, my husband had had an affair. And I got really down and dirty about healing myself and understanding what made me tick and why I was having the results that I was having in my life. And it was absolutely transformational. So at this time, you know, I'm a child who survived 10 years of abuse. And then I'm a woman who was twice divorced. My first divorce ended because my husband was in Desert Storm and he became mentally ill and unable to parent or be a husband. So at 21, I was a single mom. And then I got married again and had a great marriage for about 10 years, and then my husband had an affair. So by the time I was 34, I already had these huge life crises under my belt that I got really serious about fixing. And when that happened, my career went through the roof, my personal life went through the roof. I mean, everything just got better. So when I thought about expanding into America's Crisis Coach, I realized I really did have a lot of information to share with people. And I had helped hundreds of people in my mental health career go through all different sorts of crises. So that's where the platform came from. And now what I do is I help people who have faced every different type of crisis. I've helped families who've lost children unexpectedly, people who have dealt with public scandals, just amazing things. Everything from like the smallest of things to just the largest of things.
Oh, that's so fascinating, and I love your story, and I thank you so much for sharing it with us, because sometimes it's hard to share your personal story, but I think it helps people understand that there's more than one crisis that can happen in your life, right? You can have divorce, you can have tragedy, you can have family problems. Crisis can look like anything. Maybe your business isn't going the way you want it to go. Right?
Yeah, and what I've learned is that the same tools that you use for one sort of crisis, you're going to use for any sort of crisis. It really all comes down to some fundamental things, and that transparency that you see in me, and it really is who I am. I've been a newspaper columnist for 8 years in my local hometown, and transparency is my game. I'm very open and honest about myself, my life, my past, my present, my future, and it really resonates with people. And I understand that people feel some sense of comfort and some sense that I understand, because I really don't keep myself behind closed doors. I put it out there, and people really resonate with that.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, Faydra, why would somebody want to work with a crisis coach to achieve a greater success in their own personal life?
A lot of times people don't want to go to traditional therapy because they feel like it's like an archaeological dig of the past, and they really want to stay focused on the present and taking action steps. And while there is an element of life coaching that is going to deal with things in your past, primarily coaching is about setting goals, striving to achieve them, and then when you hit those roadblocks, then looking at why is it that we're not taking that action, and then tackle it in the moment, but without going back to dig up every element of the past along the way.
Oh, I really like how you stated that, you know. So what will people get when they start working with you specifically?
The primary thing is that I have a huge background as an entrepreneur. Even when I was working brick and mortar, I was also pulling in income from multiple streams. So I had contracts with other companies, and when I was married, we had our own business as well as my working for the county. So I have this broad range of knowledge that I pull from when I'm dealing with somebody. And I've been in a lot of administrative positions, so I understand how to balance employees and how to motivate teams. And then when you couple that with the psychology background that I have, I really understand how people tick. And I have the ability to pick up on things that possibly could be in the client's subconscious that they had never even thought of. And then because of my nature and my God-given talents, I just have a way of engaging with people where they feel really comfortable but yet held accountable. And I think that's me working in my wheelhouse and seeing that our businesses are a reflection of us. And oftentimes our inner man, the person that we try to hide from our business world, they have to intersect. And people find themselves unable to take actions because of their inner man stuff, and it's really affecting their business.
Right. Yeah, I can see how that could really you can get impacted by all of that. So how would somebody go about reaching out and start to work with you?
So my website, doinglifewithfaydra.com, is a great place to find me and to connect with me. And I do different types of coaching. There are people who just want to do hourly coaching. They just want to communicate and get an assessment of what's going on for them and see if coaching is even a good idea or a good fit for them. And that's a great place to start. I offer different coaching packages, so people can work with me for 6 months. They can work for me for 3 months. We can do just some group things. Really, I'm always evolving because people are always showing me what their new needs are, and I can create a package that will work for anybody.
Oh, very cool. And for our audience members, I put Faydra's website up on the display here, so you can go there and take a look at it. It's www.doinglifewithfaydra.com, and we're going to come back to that in a moment. So Faydra, what could somebody's life look like after working with you for 30 days, 60 days, a year, 5 years?
Well, they're going to have radical change and radical clarity. Generally, the people who come to me are just really confused. They know that what they're doing for their business is valuable. They know that they have a niche. They know that they have a market. They know that they have product ideas, but they're not executing. And in business, I help them understand why is it that they're not taking that action. And recently, I've been working with a lot of business coaches, and it's really highlighted how what I do really fits in the business world, because business coaches oftentimes can lay out exactly what action steps people should be taking to grow their business, and that's awesome. But then they hit these walls and they don't take the actions, and the business coaches aren't exactly equipped to help peel back the curtain and understand why people aren't really going forward. So I come up alongside them and I say, okay, let's just talk, let's just understand. And through communication, listening to everyone's story, I start to understand what's going on. And then I just work together with you to take a look at it, understand what parts of that are really a misrepresentation of who you are and who you've always meant to be, and how you're going to make that effective in your business. And then we look at it, tear it apart, deconstruct it, make a plan for how to take that action, and then I walk alongside my clients until they can do it all by themselves, and then they have all that self-esteem that was holding them back, or unawareness that was holding them back. All of a sudden, all the light bulbs go off, and they start taking massive action in their business. And of course, they see the results not only in their businesses, but in their interpersonal relationships, and in their relationships with their community members. It's just a domino effect of awesome.
Oh, that's so fantastic. And, I'll give you a testimonial, if you will, because, last month I was in a program with Faydra, and we met several times throughout the month, and I was stuck in something in my life, in an area that wasn't moving forward, in an area where I wanted to be successful in this part, and I wanted to take my business to the next level, but something was keeping me suppressed. And just by listening to suggestions and things that Faydra shared with me, I was able to say, you know what, that's enough of this game. Let's play this game instead. And I changed something, and all of a sudden stuff started happening, and I can't explain it other than a Faydra phenomenon. So I definitely think that, if you guys go to Faydra's website, check her out, because you'll find her coaching program. I believe it's under the Here Come the Apocalypse section of the website, and you'll just experience something. A conversation with Faydra could definitely change your life.
Thank you.
Yeah, you remember we were talking about, just a couple days ago, so it was fantastic.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, so tell me about the apocalypse that's on your website, where they're going to go. What will they find there?
Oh, so if you go to my website, on the right-hand side, you're going to find a form. And for just giving me your email address, I'm going to give you this amazing recording that I did with Lane Amon. And it's about how to avoid the emotional zombie apocalypse. And what that talks about is how we manage stress when the little things are happening really will determine how we manage stress when big things happen. So this talks about self-awareness and some amazingly helpful tips to ready you for those big things that come out of left field that you weren't expecting to happen, and be prepared for them so you can survive that emotional zombie apocalypse. And it comes with a PDF, so that's pretty cool. If you get an audio and a PDF to follow along, it gives you all those tips. And I just think it's really useful because a lot of people don't realize that we have to be preppers, kind of like in social or in pop culture. You talk about those prepper shows, and people are really into The Walking Dead and all those zombie apocalypse things. And I just thought it was a funny marriage of those two concepts.
Oh, it's so great. The other thing that I want to share about Phaedra with you guys is that Phaedra's an author, and she's got an amazing series of books for children to help them with some of the challenges that children go through when we as adults are going through change. And Phaedra, can you touch on your books with your kids a little bit?
Yes, thank you. So I've written 3 books, and it's a series for Daniel the dinosaur. And Daniel is a little boy, and he and his parents have gone through a divorce. And the first book is about living in 2 homes and how the families manage the fact that Daniel spends time in a shared environment. And it's a great tool because families can read it to their children, their grandchildren, and talk about the situation through Daniel. And it's a wonderful way to redirect the attention from maybe their home or their family situation, or even a friend's family or a family member's family, and talk about it in a positive way. And it gives children a role model to see that it can be okay. So the first book is all about living in 2 homes. And the second book is where Daniel's father meets a new lady and her children. And it's about blending families and the challenges that can come along when there's new siblings involved, getting to know a step parent, that sort of thing. But in the end, it can be fun when parents put kids first. And then the third book is about Meg, the T-Rex, and she has a issue with her stepfather, and she tells him that she hates him and how the family manages that crisis. And they're just delightful books. They're told in rhyme. They're geared for children anywhere from 3 to 7 years old, and they're just quality books about real life experiences that families are going through, and there's nothing like this on the market. And I've got more books in queue. I'm going to be developing new characters that are going to introduce other issues that families go through outside of divorce, and how to tackle those through these dinosaur characters. And I'm really excited about them, so thanks for talking about them.
Oh, they sound like fun. I remember when I went through my divorce, my children were really, they're little people, and I wish that there were tools back when my kids, at the time, my daughter was 4, my son was 3. It's so early on in their life, and I wish that I had had a tool where I could have shared with them to help me have conversations, because sometimes as a parent, I found it very difficult knowing what's appropriate to share with my child, what's not appropriate to share with my child, how do I introduce a new person into their life without them freaking out or things like that. So I think having a way to just find a connection with your kids today is so vital. A lot of times we push it aside like it's no big deal, and it's a huge deal for them. So thank you so much for contributing to our kids and being able to take your brilliance and your tools and help us have something to move forward with. It's so awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so great. So perfect. So guys, just so that you're aware, I also put the link to Phaedra's Amazon page right on the side here so that you can go back later and check out all about Daniel the dinosaur and his family changes and things that he's going through so that you can share with your family. It's so great. So, Phaedra, what are some strategies or some roadblocks actually that typically prevent people from getting started and moving forward in their career or in their uh, with what's stopping them?
Yeah, sure. Generally, without a doubt, people are in some way hiding something about themselves. Whether it's a fear that they're hiding, a fear of inadequacy, a fear that they don't understand or know, so education, that could be education about their business. I know for me, I always struggle about technology, and I will let the fear of not knowing how to make a squeeze page keep me from putting my message out to my tribe. Oftentimes they'll use a shame factor to stop them from taking action. Maybe there's something going on in their family and they're just really concerned that if people knew that somehow that they would make a judgment and things would implode. So generally it's fear-based, and any type of shame, the fear of the unknown, any of that, it will literally petrify amazing people from taking the actions that they need to take. So that generally is the biggest roadblock.
Yeah, no, I hear that. The sun is glaring on your camera. I'm having a little bit of a difficulty seeing you.
Here we go. You know, I'm in the morning here in California and the sun is rising.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, we rose a long time ago. I'm on the other coast. Perfect. Okay, so now, so we understand these strategies for these roadblocks. Are there some strategies that you share with your students to help propel them forward so that this feeling of stuckness doesn't stay with them?
Yes, absolutely. I lead by example, and I have had elements in my life that have literally petrified me like a piece of wood and stopped taking action. And I had to learn how to expose those things to the light. And through my experience, 100% of the time, when I have just come to terms with whatever it is I'm afraid of, and then take action about that, whether it is go get the education that I need or hire a VA to help me with the elements of my business that I don't know how to do, or confess something about my life that has me troubled or worried or I feel overwhelmed by. Any time that we expose our fears, we find out that they're paper tigers, that they had a lot of growl, but they really had no teeth. And once you at least share the information in a protective bubble, because with me everything's in the cone of silence, then we can look at it. And there has never been one thing that I've ever had to go through or that I've ever helped somebody go through that was so incredibly huge that it couldn't be managed. So just getting the weight of the world off of people's shoulders is really the first step.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us, Phaedra. You know, so now what would be action steps that you would like people to do to get started with you?
What I would love people to do is go on over to my blog and just take a peek at some of my blog posts. It'll give you a real good feel. I'm a very no-nonsense practical person, but my heart is huge. And one of the things that I love is I don't fluff. I get right down and dirty with the situation. And that for you is your mind, your money, all of that is going to be managed quickly. And I would love for people just to take a peek at the blog post and see how things go there. If you love what I'm doing, you can also see a lot of my videos on YouTube, and that's Faydra Koenig over on YouTube. And you can get a ton of really practical information about how to manage crisis, how to deal with divorce, and then, of course, coaching. I love working with people one-on-one, and I love working alongside business coaches to help their tribes be amazing. So those are the three top things that come to my mind.
Oh, it's so great, Phaedra. Thank you so much. You know, guys, like I said, Phaedra's amazing. How she can help you with your family to come up with creative ways to help you share with them challenges that you're going through and how they can cope, and things that they can do, all the way up to just taking that stop where you are right now and whatever you're stuck with, and working with you to plow through that so that you can change your life and take it to the next step and be successful in whatever it is that you're looking for greater success with, whether it be in your business or your personal life, or meeting the wonderful person of your dreams. Maybe something stopping you there, because you're bringing your prior relationship right into your new relationship because you're stuck there. You're like, oh, well, this happened to me before, so this new guy, if you're a girl, this new guy is going to do the same thing. And you haven't even given that person an opportunity. You're just bringing up, whoever it was prior. All of those things are stops in life. And isn't it time that you put a stop to that instead of putting a stop to your life? I think.
I love what you just said. It is so true. And a lot of times people keep bumping up against the same result, and they don't understand that they are the common denominator in every single one of those results. And a lot of times it just needs somebody with some wisdom and some empathy and some street smarts to hear what's going on for them and have them look at it from a different perspective. And it makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, it sure does, Phaedra. So, I encourage all of you, take a few minutes, run over to our site, learn what Phaedra has to share with us, and how we can just be bigger people and live truly a life that we want for ourselves and with our families, and making it all work together. And you can find that over at doinglifewithphaedra.com. So,
Yeah.
oh, Phaedra, it was so wonderful to be with you today and to share you with my guests. I could talk to you all day long.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I just realized, I'm obviously very active on social media. So you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter. And if you really aren't ready for coaching yet and you just want to connect, you can use my contact form on my website and just shoot me an email. Let's get to know one another and say hi. I absolutely have a passion for helping people through their crisis, whether it's the smallest one through the most incredibly painful one. I always say life sucks, but I make it suck less.
I love that saying. It was so great, Phaedra. Thank you for coming up with that. It's perfect. Any
Thank
final
you.
words that you'd like to share with our audience before we go?
Mainly that we always have things that come up in our lives that keep us from what it is we want. And there is zero shame in reaching out to somebody to process it. And not everything has to be a long, drawn out archaeological dig into our pasts. But if you could just have a simple conversation with somebody and really just kind of peel back the curtain and understand why it is you're not getting the results that you think you should have, I might be the person that can help you figure it out.
Oh, so great. Well, Phaedra, thank you so much for joining me today on Go Mind Your Business. I learned a ton. I loved having you as a guest. And that's doinglifewithphaedra.com so that you can learn more about Phaedra and her wonderful books for children, and all about her coaching. So go ahead, guys, and go visit over there. Phaedra, thank you again for being with us today. It was wonderful to have you.
Thank you so much. I just want to wave to everybody. Oh, got to get it the right way. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Awesome. So great. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today. My name is Terri Bork, and I Go Mind Your Business. We love talking with powerful men and women about what they do and how they add value to their community. And if you're one of those people, or you know one of those people, let me know. We're happy to have them on our program as well. And until we meet again next time, everybody, go mind your business. And you have an awesome day. You take care now. Have a wonderful one. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Go Mind Your Business with Terri Bork, presented by Extreme Marketing Concepts. If you want to drive more traffic, dominate the market, and crush your competition, find out how by visiting our website, www.extrememarketingconcepts.com. And join Terri next time for another episode of Go Mind Your Business.